Hello, vibrators. This is Third Street, and welcome back to Vibrate or Diedrate. This podcast is all about surprise topics where we're going to ask what the vibe is. Today, we have a special guest who's going to talk about being Black at a PWI, and I'll be talking about hometowns. All right, let's go. Vibe in. Welcome back to Vibrate or Diedrate. Unfortunately, our usual co-host Mikey P is not here, but we have a special guest for y'all today. One of my oldest friends, Beth. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. Hey guys, my name is Beth. I'm from Aurora, Colorado. I moved out to Austin, Texas for work. I'm doing sales work and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So let's get into the first topic. So I decided to talk about hometowns this week. I feel like we both grew up in Aurora, so that gives us a little bit of insight on that. So basically the background for this one, I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people, especially when we go to college, we meet people from different areas in the world, and obviously all of our experiences are so different. And I don't know, I just feel like people from Aurora, we all kind of have the same mindset, I guess. We're all very true to our people, I guess. We always usually just come back to each other. We're always very supportive of each other. And I don't know if that has to do with the time that we grew up in and the things that happened to us growing up or what. But basically that is what I want to talk to you about. So what's the vibe on growing up in Aurora?
Oh yeah, growing up in Aurora, I think it definitely builds character. Just echoing what you said, I feel like people who grow up in Aurora always come back to each other. My closest friends are from Aurora and we grew up together. We went to the same elementary school, middle school, and high school. So we all kind of, had the same path. And even as we go off to college in different places, we still come back and we still rekindle. So I definitely feel you on that.
That's a good point. I mean, so we were both in Stuco in high school. And I also feel like that was just a huge group of people. We had over 80 people, I guess, in that class. And I was thinking about this the other day, we both have our groups of people whenever we come home. I see you, I see all of the Ethiopians, and I also hang out with Mikey P, Joe, Alyssa, all of them. But even then, when we have those hangouts, it's still people that we spent so much time with in high school. Just hanging out with them, we can just get back into the groove of things, even if they're not our closest friends. I still talk to people that we were in Stuco with, and people that were years younger than us too. It's we all just have the same group of people still. We just all talk to each other.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think it's just one thing I love about it is that it's not awkward. You kind of just pick up where you left off and you just catch up and you kind of move on. So there's not that awkward moment where we have, even though we've all went to different schools, we still have that bond. And I think, especially with the people that I hang out with now from Aurora, I consider them family, and I know we'll be friends for a long time, even though we don't talk every day, if that makes sense.
Right. So, okay, what do you think is really what is keeping us together? Do you think that this is just a Rangeview thing, just our high school thing, or do you think this is an actual citywide thing? Because obviously Cherry Creek schools are in Aurora, some of them, and I don't know how other schools react. I don't know how Gateway is or anything like that, but do you think it's just the area that we grew up in? So that area where we all just know each other?
I think it's probably a mixture of both, because I feel it's our high school, because we all went to high school together and we had really great memories, because similar clubs and similar classes and same elementary and middle school. But I also feel it's a bond that we have. It's from the city. I don't know, because it's different experiences that we had together.
Yeah.
I don't know, even when there was holidays, we'd all go do holiday stuff together. I think it was a mixture of both, because I'm just thinking about in high school, besides Stuco, DECA, etc., we would still hang out on Fridays at Sonic at 7 p.m. until 12 a.m. when they kick us out. No, literally, if you're from Aurora, Sonic on Hampton. So it's just I think it's that. it's definitely that part of the city. So it's like not only being part of Ranger, but it's just like we had our hangout spots. We had the things that we did every weekend. We had manhunt that people would like went to, and like that kind of like strengthened our bond. So I think it's the fact that we hung out outside of high school. We hung out outside of like, we still like, I know even with college track, like we hung out outside of college track. So it was just like different programs we were involved in. We were together in those programs, but we also spend time with each other outside. So I think that definitely a mixture of both that built the character.
So true. Like, okay, this is like a little bit dark, but I don't know who I was talking to about this the other day, but like if you think about like our age range, like when we were first going into high school, the summer before high school is when the Aurora theater shooting happened. And like I was talking to someone, and like that honestly was such a big impactful event that like hit all of us at like our most defining years of like growing up. Like we were literally transitioning to high school, and like I don't know, I feel like that might also have a lot to do with like how close everyone became, because like after that, like people just like, it was like kind of like the first event growing up that made you realize that like this world sucks, first of all, and like the people around you are not going to be here forever. And like, you know, we've lost a lot of people that like we've gone to high school with. Like we've lost a lot of people from Aurora in general growing up. I feel like that might have something to do with it. Like just like we all just want the best for each other, like no matter who we are.
Exactly. And I think that was just like we were still so young. So when that happened, we were all kind of like, dang, like this is real life. And I think it kind of clicked for me at that point, just to keep, you know, the people that you love really close to you, and life is too short. And I think we realized like we just really have to live it up, because you can go any day. Super dark, but yeah, I think we were all part of that. Like it was like a collective feeling of like sadness, and like we were just like, wow, this really happened in our city. So I definitely feel like that kind of that's kind of something we all went through. So it kind of helped build our bond.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like, you know, like other states, like if you're from, I don't know, like a New York borough, or if you're from like Detroit, you really just like rep your area so much. And I just feel like Aurora, over like the last 10 years, it basically has become that. Like it's become like something on the map. And like, you know, we've got like great talent too. Like we've got like people doing like amazing things. Like the people in our class, graduating class, like they're all doing like crazy awesome things. Like I don't even know, like Ivy Leagues, they're making music, they're like doing extra stuff on the side. Like it's just like honestly really cool to see how much people have grown. I feel like what you said, like the people that we went to elementary school with, the people I went to middle school with, like just seeing like the stuff that they're doing now, it's kind of wild.
Exactly. And I also do love how like, if we don't talk every day, like I know if you're doing something, like we're gonna support you regardless at the end of the day, because we're all from the same city. So I love that about it too, for sure.
That's why I love coming home too. Like I just love like being back in this area and like seeing people. And like I feel like, you know, I'm sure like everything was a culture shock once we all graduated, but like our high school, like when we grew up, it was so diverse. Like we knew so many different types of people coming from like different backgrounds in life, and like that was such a rewarding experience. Like that was awesome.
It was, and I think you really appreciate it once you move out into college in the real world. You're like, wow, I really got to experience something special in high school.
Plus, you're right. Like we did a lot of crazy shit too. I mean, like, do you remember that? Do you remember the prank wars?
That's what I was gonna bring up. Like, I just also don't think, like, when I was talking to some of my friends about it, like, I don't think people had similar high school experiences, like to that magnitude, where we were actually insane in high school. Like, we had no limits. We would have prank wars. People would steal batteries out of cars and unwrap cars. Like, it get serious too. Yeah. It was my car. So
that was your car.
Yes, one of our friends took the battery out of my car, and I really had no idea. I think it's just
and then when we kept putting one of our friends in the back of our trunk, and
every year we would literally kidnap him. Yeah, people actually, when I tell this story, people think we're insane. And then also another thing I have to bring up is like the whole Drake Bell thing, like how he was supposed to perform at our school, and then he didn't end up performing. And then like my friends and I went down and like stalked him and begged him to perform at a park. It's just like the stories like that really do just like an accurate depiction of our 4 years in high school, and like it's one of those things that you'll never forget, honestly.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought up Drake Bell, because I was like just talking to someone about this today. Like literally our high school bullied Drake Bell so badly, got him to perform at the park down the street from our house, like literally like 2 minutes away from both of our houses. Got him to perform there, and now he changed his name and he lives in Mexico. And someone was like, damn, like Rangeview really bullied him enough to get him to move to a different country.
I didn't even know he moved to Mexico. That's wild.
Yeah, I think he goes by like Drake Campana now. Campana? I don't know. I like saw it on Twitter, and like someone was like, "Oh my god, like Drake literally
no regrets.
Like, moved to a different country."
Especially our last 2 years, we had a good time. So
yeah, I mean, I know it sounds like low-key sad to say like high school was like, you know, the best, but I feel like people don't understand that like our high school, our experiences were actually like so fun. Like,
yeah, no, we had a good time at all. We had a good time, and I think it's just so many personalities too within like our friends group. So it's like we've always had a good time.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to your topic. I wanna hear what you have for us today, because this is exciting. Not having a Mikey P. I mean, I miss him, but I'd like to hear different points of views.
Oh, for sure. So my topic is being Black at a PWI, and I feel like Renika and I can both. Yes, we can both understand what it's like to be Black at a PWI, because we did go to predominantly white institutions, if you guys don't know what PWI stands for. But the background behind this is that obviously coming from, like we talked about, we came from a really diverse high school. Going into a predominantly white institution was very intimidating, and it did require a lot of thought process and like reflections within the first few years. And after that, you kind of get used to it, but there's also still some moments of like racism, discrimination that you face on campus. So I just want to talk about this with Renika, because I feel like we both have different unique perspectives, because I went to school in DC and she went to school here. So we can chat about that. So what's the vibe with that?
This is a good topic. I will say that this is a good topic. A lot to talk about here. I don't know if I can get it all in within this time limit, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, like we both went to PWIs. I mean, the thing about like going where I went, like it wasn't like just like a PWI. Like it was literally a WI. Like less than 50 Black people at that school. Like I like, you know, the only time basically, it was like literally like if I wanted to see a Black person, I had to wait till Fridays to go to a NSBE meeting. Like that was it. Like, I mean, like I had like my freshman year, I had two Black girls on my floor, which is like honestly crazy. Like I thought about this. I was like, how is it that there's probably like 10 of us in this like class, the class of like 2020, and like 3 of us are all on the same floor? So like that was like kind of nice, you know, like I was able to like at least see Black people like when I was going back to my floor, like when I was in my dorm, I didn't feel like completely alone and all of that. But like just like my 4 years there, and like it's just like hard because it's like you want to join all of these like different things, like you want to be involved, but like also it's so hard to like be involved in things when you go in and it's like not only do these people not look like you, it's like by that time, like that was right after Trump's election, it was like not only do these people not look like you, it's like these people also like are outwardly against you as a person. And I was just like, this is rough. And like I don't know, like of course, you know, we've both heard this, like you have to be twice as good. Like that's like basically how I felt. I feel like it like a lot of mental health stuff going into a PWI as a Black person, for sure, 100%.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like, especially coming from Aurora, just going to PWI. I mean, I had a little bit more Black people at my school, but it was still like I would be the only like not even Black person, but the Black woman in a class. So it's like I'm always supposed to put on like be a 10. Like I'm always supposed to be ready, because if I'm called on, like I can't make a fool of myself, like, you know, because I'm Black. So I think it's always that pressure and burden that's put on you. But no, I definitely agree with everything you're saying. I feel like for me, the only reason why I survived my school is because of my friends. Shout out to you guys. You guys know who you are. But just the fact that I had like a really strong support group. I like roomed with Black people too. So like I like helped with my mental health, because I don't know if I could do without them. And just the fact that I was able to join like on-campus organizations also kind of lifted my spirits when I was feeling down. But yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like it's just like we have a communal bathroom freshman and sophomore year. So it's even like small things like that where I'm just like, wow, should I go out with like my headscarf on? Should I go out with my bonnet on? Like, what will people say? Like, and like being a freshman, it's very intimidating. I mean, after freshman year, I didn't really care because I'm like, say what you want, but just like small things you always have to think about in college, especially living with other people who like don't look like you. And it's just like, I feel like it was a lot my first and second year. So I definitely feel you on that.
I really like how you bring up like the small things. I feel like people don't really think about like all the small stuff that happens. And like what you just said, like my during like the 4 years I guess like 5 years now that I'm in grad school, but like during my time at college, like there was only one time when I had a roommate, like just like actually a roommate. Like I've had housemates, whatever, and like when freshman year I lived in like a suite style, so like I had my own room, but it was like 7 of us. And like I love my roommate. Like she's an amazing person. Like I love her. I'm still friends with her today. But like I like literally had to think about like being in that house with like 20 other people, and like what you said, like literally I was like should I wear like my bonnet, should I not? And like I talked to my mom about it. She was like, you know what, if you don't like want to overthink it and like you don't want to like be insecure, just like get a satin pillowcase. So like that's like what I slept on like the entire year, like a satin pillowcase. And I was like it's just like things that really like you should not have to overthink, like how like your like how you go to sleep, like but you do.
I know, but you do. It's automatic, like it's ingrained in us. It's kind of like, why do I have to hide parts of my personality and who I am? To kind of like, not even to conform, but yeah.
Have I ever told you what happened? You remember when I went into freshman year and like I had the box braids? Have I ever told you what happened like after I got those taken out?
I remember you told me. I don't know if it's the same story, but go ahead, let us hear it.
Like so like I had the box braids like first semester, I think. I came back in January, bro. So many people walked up to me. They were like, "Oh, you cut your hair." I was like, I just looked at them and I was like, yes, I did.
Right.
Yes, I like. I'm not gonna sit here and explain all of this to you. I was just like, bro, like what? That was one of my first, not my first, but like that was a good shook moment for me. I was just like, okay, all right.
What goes on? And just like I mean, like some people are just curious, but also it doesn't need to be said. Really, doesn't need to be said. Doesn't, like you don't need to point it out. Like the thing is, when they cut their hair or when they do something different with their hair, we don't say nothing. We just keep it moving. So I don't know why they don't keep it moving too. Like you don't have to comment. Like, what do you gain? Really, you don't gain anything. So really that's mad annoying. Like just can't. It's just like the fact that we have to actually deal with this, and like even not even them commenting on it, but like them feeling the need to be like, oh, can I feel your hair? Can I touch your hair? I'm like, bro, like no, like what
Absolutely
am I?
Not no.
It's like kind of ridiculous. It's like this is the thing. These are things we face on a daily, and I feel like we shouldn't have to go through it. Like that's like the main point.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I'm so glad that I chose one of the most not diverse fields to go into after I get my degree. So that should be a fun life until 65 for me. But it's fine. I mean, like
you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna have your little friends in the city, but it's gonna. Yeah, you're gonna be all right though. I think you just need to have like that support system like around you. Like even now it's kind of hard too with working. It's kind of like you have to meet people, and we're in the pandemic, so it's hard to meet people and like just find your group of people. But I think with time, hopefully everything will get squared away.
Going to a PWI, like I hate to say it, but like it really made me lose a lot of patience that I think I had like when I was like 17, 18. Like it's like literally like right now it's like one slip up and like it's done, because I'm like at this point in your life, like I am not here to like entertain y'all as like the Black person in your life. Like that's not how it is. Like it's either like you see me as a person, like we're friends, or it's nope, like done. Like and like I'm thankful. Like I'm thankful for the friends that like I've made at my school. Like I love them, and like they're great people, and like I'm so lucky that like I have them in my life. Like I'm very blessed. But it's just like other people, like I'm just like there's honestly I don't even like feel like it anymore. I don't even like feel like putting myself out there. Like I'm fine with just doing my homework, getting my degree, and getting out of there.
Minding my business. That was me, head down, minding my business in these classes, like had no friends.
Yes, sir.
And it's just like one of those things. It's kind of like, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm also not here to educate you. So if you have a question that I just think is ridiculous, Google is free. Like go search it up. Like I'm not here to teach you what's racist, what's not racist. I'm so sorry, baby girl. I'm so sorry, but you know what? You can go search that up on Google and figure it out, because I think oftentimes as Black people, they want us to like, oh, educate the masses, but like at the end of the day, we are people. Like, we have things going on in our own lives. Like, my job is not, I'm not here to educate you. Like, especially nowadays, like with all this happening in the world, like, wake up, Google's free, and like figure out how to be anti-racist at the end of the day. Like, it's ridiculous. It gets me hot thinking about it too.
I've had like a few times like people like say something dumb to me, whatever, you know, and I'm like, all right, that's racist. I'm done. We're done. And they're like, well, you know, I can't just like, no, like, why don't you tell me like what was wrong with what I said? I'm like, no, like that's no,
really, like, I'm not draining my energy, bro. You already made me mad. Like, go away.
Like, exactly. Like, why would I take the time to like tell you how you're being racist when you could easily just either Google how you're being racist and then continue to be racist, or just not say dumb shit to my face. And
literally. And just like think about what you say before you say it. Like, if you question it, have a slightest hesitation, like, don't say it. Like, just think. Like, I just don't understand what goes on. Like, think. Oh, I just get annoyed, but you know, we made it through. You're almost done with your master's. I'm doing my bachelor's. We're out of there. Don't have to associate anymore. But honestly, it's one of those things though. It's like, you won't, even though we're out of college, like, you still will probably face some of this. Like, you'll be in white spaces moving forward in the works, like you said, in the workforce, and just moving forward. But I think you just need to, you know, focus on your mental health, find a group of people at work that you can talk to, just have that like support system, and hopefully just, you know, stay sane. But
yeah, so for any of the Black people like still in college listening to this, like, keep doing you're doing amazing.
Really?
And like no matter what anyone says, like, dealing with school is like one thing, but then dealing with like all the shit that comes with being like a Black student is another thing. Like, you are handling like a lot right now, and you're doing amazing. So like, just keep pushing through. Y'all got this.
I definitely agree. And you know, you deserve to be there as much as everyone else at the end of the day. Like, don't let anyone make you feel like you don't deserve to be there. So power through, you got it. You are smart, you are beautiful, and you're gonna make it at the end of the day. So yeah.
Take that from the woman that has graduated, has got a job.
Yeah, and take that from a woman who will be graduating with her master's soon in May. And we'll get a full-time job too. The sky is the limit. So we got it at the end of the day.
It really is. Y'all are amazing. All right. That is the time we have today. Thank you all for listening. And thank you, Beth, for being an amazing co-host. I really enjoyed having you here. This has been lovely. Hopefully you can come back another time.
Will, as long as I'm invited. I'm happy to speak. Thank you so much, Renika, for having me. And hope you guys enjoyed our little podcast.